regarding the current situation, if we go to what we have in the market here, we can see in a summary that Bitcoin is going down, Ethereum is tragically going down because Ethereum is, I think, the worst performance ever in about 5 months, because also when falling it was stronger than Bitcoin with moves from 500 to $1,000 daily. So it's something that is very bad for Ethereum to drop down this amount of 12%, which is more than Bitcoin. Solana is still there, but we have a loss of about $10 in 2 days. Also during the up of Solana, Bitcoin dropped. NIR is strangely green. The stable coins are green except Doge, which is red. And the other, FMT, Phantom, Leo, maybe some outsider here in the low part of the board, fat, but practically it's a bloodbath. We cannot consider this situation as something that is just a little dump, because it's general and not just for Bitcoin or for Ethereum. So when people are asking, what about this dump? Is something that we will recover or will it persist? Well, to me, this is a global market drop. So it's something that we should consider as an important price action and demonstration of trend change. Now, where we are on Bitcoin here, this is the 200 moving average weekly. So the line that we should meet on every closing cycle. There are many theories on that. There are people saying that it should touch 2 times the lowest point of the price action, impacting the moving average. So we have already 2 times here. There are other people saying that each cycle, and there's an indicator which is called the P cycle top. If we add this indicator, having the right plan, because maybe I have too much indicators here. Yeah, I don't need this one. And the whole moving average at this moment we will not need, but we will go for this P cycle top indicator. It's an indicator based on some moving averages that are that are very paired to concepts related to Fibonacci and other mathematics that we are not going to consider in this moment, but it's practically identifying, using some moving averages, the top of each cycle of the market. Some people associate it with the halving, so the destruction of Bitcoin each 400 and some days, because I don't remember the real number. Others that associate it with the all-time high, but the result is from moving averages, so it's not something that you can associate to a particular event of the market, but to price action and lagging indicators like the moving averages are. So if this is really complying with the previous editions, like this one, the 2017 edition of the all-time high here, we dropped in some time. I will not check the timing now because it's just a wide view, and touched these weekly moving averages of 200 once, and then after a consistent retest, I will call this a secondary attempt to break the all-time high here, failed. We went down again, touching this line, and this was the COVID event, so something that was really tragical. and we went down that moving averages. So logically, now, if we are at this cycle, the next move could be delayed like this one and go to August of the next year, why not? But it could just be something like this too. So not considering dates and similar things, the point here, which is 19 in terms of price, is something that could happen, that already happened in the past, that will not be so surprising because already happens, and because it's a natural move of this kind of market. So it's a Bitcoin useful consideration. Let's do the same shape like this one, not perfectly, but let's see, drawing something like this to see where we could impact this line a little bit higher here. And let's consider this as a way of charting that is not related to perfect geometry, but that can give us an idea of the move of the price here for our asset, in this case Bitcoin. And we can put a label here in the worst case, the longest term, and the shortest term label. As you can see, this moving average moves effectively. Maybe it will go a little bit slower and having the price here, why saying not more than 20,000, because it's better to consider that it could, but let's call the round number of 20,000, why not? So we could have two situations for the future, and this I'm doing to consider the fact that many people are saying, are we dumping so hard? Look at this case here in the past. History never repeats, they say, but generally it repeats. So not in terms of price and generic moves, but in terms of price action is quite similar, because all the price of crypto is driven by bots doing operations based on an algorithmical program, so informatics. For this reason, I would never consider a price action completely different from the previous one. Of course, when people are selling crazy like this moment, the algorithm will consider this kind of behavior from people and start operating in consequence, but will never leave the market to the people. So this kind of actions, like this one, could be something that we will see again here in the worst case. Why worst case? Because it's a little bit higher, but it's very delayed compared to today. And people losing money because we will never recover to this point. This high is generally followed by lowers. So as it's probably the upper point, the famous golden pocket retracement that I will show you later as a level. It's something that we will never see for a good amount of time. So if we, let's say, do a subdivision of these events here, we can expect really, hopefully, that on February we will have the price touching the 200 moving averages. I'm quite sure it's a need, and probably at this point, sadly, because you can see here, let's do a comparison for our situation with the past edition, considering that this peak is the same as this one. So we know that when we will recover from here, probably we will go for an attempt. It will be an attempt that could also succeed in passing over the all-time high, but could fail, because history told us that every time attempts, in this case 1, 2, not this because it's a cycle. So here, this attempt followed by this retest, by this other attempt, this other one, before going to the bull run again failed. They never succeeded in breaking the all-time high. And here it was the same. This all-time high for this cycle was not doubled by this other one. It only, let's say, took place when we had a new bull market, a new bull run. And as you can see, the new bull run should disconnect completely the price action from this moving average. Now, after you already checked many times that other moving average that I also consider always, which is the whole moving average, is a little bit loyal with the traders and the analysts because it has more precise touches and it's a different behavior. On a weekly time frame, 2 years, because it's an average time for the cycle and the peak, 2 years of periods in a weekly context are 52 weeks per 2, so 104 periods. Now let's look at what happened just in the last case, when we were with the price way up this moving average, we were in the bull market. When the moving average crossed the price and the price went down, bear market. So this is our bear market here. And then out of the bear market, mini bull run attempt. Let's call this not a bull trap, but it's a failed swing in terms of attempts to produce a new all-time high or a new higher high. So again, bull run. This could be called also a little bull market. Why not? Let's call it bull market. Then again, the price dropped under the 104 moving average. We had a bear market here, very little. A recover with a retest. As you can see, the retest is very important here because it was a check on the moving average and a big fall down to the 200 moving average. And you can see that when we cross this line, we have to visit the friend here. So if we crossed here, like this kind of price action, like here or here, the same we have here, we are entering the bear market. When I was saying the other day, if we cross this line again up, not this way, but this way, we are entering a bull market, so we will go up and everything will be a recycling to something very bigger than what we are saying and seeing now in our charts. But casually because it's not a casuality, but exactly on that line the price was rejected. This is just an indicator of averaging the price for 104 periods, but look at how very precise information it is for us. And when it touches this, like in this case or this other case, the next consequence is that the price fall to the 200 weekly moving average. So it could be this action or this one, but we have to visit these friends. When and how we can forecast with other methods, we can also do fractals, which is repeating the previous price action and connecting that here. I personally don't do that generally because it's just a repetition of something that has another scale. Effectively, I would call this bull market we had a bad attempt, because if you look at this one, this was a real different condition for the bull market, longer and with a wide angle, while this one was just a little attempt here to reach 65 and fail at 64. This is something that we have to take in mind if we consider that all these lines, all these attempts and all these price action periods are reducing in terms of scaling the time of price action. So we have less time here rather than here. And we have to expect, so maybe and hopefully, less time to reach this moving average. So for that reason, I want to be optimistic and call it on February. Maybe it will be easy and faster, and we will see. I have it ready in this case, I think. I will show you how to draw these strange circles, but I already have some cases that are related to the option and where we are going to touch the eventual price for the future. This is something that is just based on two Gann fans, not also from the past, so very ancient in terms of time, and they will give us potential levels of where the price could be in some time of the life of the asset. So if we see here, it's completed because it's up to today. The crosses like this one, this other, all of these crosses are really important because are the intersection of the whole Gann boxes and fans squared on a basis of 4 boxes like these ones. This is a way to square Gann fan in a big scale because it's not easy to do that when you are operating on specific little timing, but it's very easy to do when you are doing the same on a wider range, which is not here completed in terms of years, but it should be up to the 2026 about. What we see here is that the highest point for our price action is $247,000. We can see it here. Now, what would we need to reach this point? First of all, the price should cross this and these other resistance lines and go in this area. We have never been there. So I would consider this hypothesis really far from reality. It could happen, but it's really far. So let's stay a little on actions that are related to our context, also excluding, but not so much, this low, which is impossible because it's minus. We have to stay on the green line here, that is 4,000. 4,000 is very hard to see it again, quite impossible. Be realistic without losing too much time in speculations and considering levels that could not be achieved anymore. Let's consider that we are in this range of resistance, this other guideline, the other guideline here, and the support here. So this is my range in terms of Gann fan. The crosses, the center crossing here, but also these other crosses are very important points where we could reach contact to have a price action verified here. In example, if we go following this blue line with this other green one, and our price action starts going down and up and down, we could reach way down this point at 4,900, but it's not, it's just fiction, not possible. It's quite hard to be there. It will be a big crash and probably something that is not market driven. because generally we have a trend, and this is an uptrend. We will see soon how to identify the uptrend, but I would opt to stay in the range of this green line here, this other guideline for the upper distribution parts, and for the accumulation sides, these two lines. So my most far lowest part will be 34,000 here, $34,000. And meanwhile, if I reduce the Gann funds with other sub-funds that we will see in other charts, we will have contact points here on this green line decreasing, but when meeting this cyan line, we will start increase probably up. So this could be, while this could be the lowest points here, around here at 26, and maybe here on the green part at 20, like we saw earlier, because it's still included in this range, we could also break out here, or why not here on this cyan line, and going up in this zone. So with this kind of let's say big forecasting of the price, we have many crosses that are our possible and potential points. So when they say to you that Bitcoin will reach 240,000, you can say, you know, but it's so remote that this is a 1% option, because we should have something never happened, which is entering this band of the price. While if they say to you that Bitcoin could reach on, in example, this is about 2023, the action on 125,000, you could say, yes, it's possible. And the same is possible for 95. But when they say 100 is a number that could appear in this range, is just a round number. This 100,000 here is not a main point in the Gann big complex view. So I would not say 100. I would say 125 or 96,000. Or eventually, in the worst case, if we stay here, the 65,000, which is more or less the current all-time high. So this is on long term. Let's short these terms and go for something here. We will not need anymore these kinds of considerations. You can draw just to play, because it's something that we do here, but with no intention to have specific price action or big analysis in perfect terms of price and forecasting. We will just remove the moving averages, because at the moment we will not need them, and we will start identify where we are. So since generally to do these kind of operations we should consider what happened and what is happening, let's reduce at 1 day, which is the example I submitted to all the team and the group in our chat, saying, I was saying here, let me check, this one, to do an exercise, which is this one. This exercise is identify the current action with the previous action on 13th of April 13th. And so let's go to check what happens on this event. Let's go to see why it is so important. Let's take a vertical line and let's draw a 13th of April line here. Now, let's consider that this action here is very similar to what could happen. Why? Because if we consider this peak is similar to this one. This peak is similar to this one. This one is the last one, and the current one is this one. So what happened there? And what could happen now? We could range the price. This is a very easy task to do. You took the tool here, you move to price range, you take this kind of move from the highest point and you go to down, and you see that we have 27.3 of price action downwards. So let's go here and let's see where I could go at 27.3. Then we will see that we can tune these kind of results, but unexpectedly at 38,000. Consider that, remember this 38 because it will appear later in the Gann boxes. So this could happen. How it happened earlier? Let's switch to 3-day time frames because it's easier to spot the same candles. Look at this candle. It's practically this one. So we are not searching for butterflies, but we are searching for effective data. Look at how this candle, this green one and this red one are practically the same, and casually on the peak of the all-time high here and on the highest point here, which is the retracement of the golden ratio. I will show you now how to find that retracement. It's really easy. You search for Fib retracements here. You go to retrace. Let's start from this moment. In this moment I will remove this line or hide it, and let's do an operation. Now this is a reverse, so let's move on straight from 1 to 0 because we need to identify this trend correctly, retracement, and to be perfect aligned. Let's see that here where I have the highest price, I have a 6489856. So on coordinates 64898.56. Checking 898.56. Okay. So this is complying. Let's look at the lowest, this one, this peak of the candle, which is here, 28754.4. 28754.4. Verifying. Perfect. So okay, confirming. Now we have the retracement. I have in my Fibonacci retracement tool already this box. What it is? The golden ratio is a zone, a specific zone where many things are retracing, like the Elliott waves and so on, and it's this level, 0.618. It's generally something that is a default setting in your Fibonacci retracement. I also add the
Hey Fab,
yeah, I'm here, ready to
excuse
answer.
me, Fab. Something happened to you. Something happened to your internet or voice.
What happens? Until what point?
Video was
Okay, so from where I should start again? Let me know.
just 2 minutes ago.
Were you able to see the retracement action until
Yeah,
something?
yeah, 100%. Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
so let's continue on this, and then I think that it will be in the video for sure, but I will explain again these levels. So when you retrace with Fibonacci, in this case we are retracing the down action of the price, the downward action, to identify the contact point here of the lowest point of this trend. We will retrace the levels from 1 to 0 because we are going from this point to this up, and our golden pocket or golden ratio will be exactly at 0.718, which is the Fibonacci number called as the golden ratio. And I added also the 0.765 because it will give me a range here. It's not perfectly acceptable because the number is really the 618, but the 65, the 0.65 is something that is not a Fibonacci number but a range that is acceptable to include this as a peaking point here. And we saw that effectively if we draw some lines here on the horizontal line, one and the other one here, we are just in range with what happens. Now this retracement is very basic, and we will see now that we have other ways with the Fibonacci spiral to see this kind of golden ratio exactly as I showed earlier in a Twitter, I think, where the spiral was rejecting the price exactly here. Effectively yesterday I was in doubts because the price was quite crossing the golden ratio but never did. And in this case, if you just retrace the golden ratio using Fibonacci from the trend, the downtrend, also being precise because I entered the correct coordinates, you will see that this retracement is not quite perfect, it's a little bit higher. So we see now, we saw these two lines. Let's delete the retracement because we will not need it anymore for the moment. We know that 27 could give us a level. In this case, the level, let's write down the level for the future and let's remove the ranges of the price, because my goal will be now to retrace everything with the square of the reversal. How identify a reversal? An error committed by me, but also by mistake on many analysts during this time of the downtrend, had been to start the trend reversal here on this candle, but it's not that one, because this is not the trend reversal. If I look with the regression trend tool to, let's say, here until here, I see this is a downtrend. Okay, let's go a little bit to the past here. Yes, and let's see. Let's go for daily because we don't want to stay on three days at the moment. We go to daily and start searching here. In example, let's start here. We have downtrend. Let's go to apply this here, downtrend. Let's see where I find something which is different from downtrend. I can do this. This is something that I'm doing manually, but it should be done with other ways. And it seems that the angle is changing in this range, in these four candles. As you can see, this is an ascending trend, while this is a descending trend. So absolutely this is not the point where the trend is changing, because from here, which is downtrend, and also if I go, why not, here, but it will be, let's remove the log scale, which is always better when you are doing this kind of thing. At this point, and I go here, I will not identify correctly the downtrend because this is a whole trend. So I need to reduce the range at this point in example to see that from this candle, which is green, to the last green one, I have effectively a change of angle. This is an ascending trend, while this one is a descending trend. So the trend reversal that I'm looking for to square is here, not here. Here I don't have absolutely any kind of reversal. Look, it seems strange, but if I go to the last green candle, it's still a downtrend. So I'm not interested in terms of squaring the trend reversal at this level. I'm interested at this one, at here, maybe here, quite parallel, seconds, quite parallel, and here uptrend. So since these are 4 candles, it's better for me to choose something like a 3 days time frame, because that way, now we will see how, I will have exactly the candle that I need to identify the downtrend against the uptrend. As you can see, it's very easy when you reduce. Weekly is too much, but 3 days is quite enough. So we identified the candle of the trend reversal here from down to uptrend. What is happening now? If we go to measure from here to the current trend, we are still uptrend. So this reversal is still complying with my price action. Let's remove the regression tool, which is here. Tac, regression trend, and let's consider this candle. So this candle is very important to me. To start, I need a circle, because you will see now how we will produce the squares of this trend using Gann. It's just one way. It's something that will produce this result. Let's see if I have it here. I have already everything. Yes, this one. So I will draw every kind of action, but this is the result that we want to obtain. So this is the circle that I was mentioning earlier on the candle, and this square box, I will show you how to draw and to obtain this specific golden ratio area, that is this one, where you can see that the price practically was perfect. We can lock price to bar ratio. Right clicking on here, a contextual menu will show you this, and you will lock the price. In this form, it will not go up and down. But anyway, as you can see, this impressive spiral, which is one of the 2 spirals that I have here. One is clockwise, the other is counterclockwise. This kind of spiral here is impacting the price perfectly. So when I have a change in the trend reversal, I can not just draw one, but many more, because then I followed the expansion of the first one, doubling the square box here and having another square box, and a third one, why not? We can go producing this kind of results, and now we will see how to do that. It's very easy, it's something that you can do blindly. It's not so difficult. The only point is to maybe set up this kind of initial points. So what we need to start, we need a top line or a level here across on the center of the future circle. So let's hide the circle for the moment, and across. This is our candle. This will be the center of our circle, the lowest point, and the upper point will be the end of our ray of the circle. So the cross is not important. This is a line that I drawn just to be sure that I was tracing correctly. But what is important is this circle. And when you draw a circle without having the lock, the circle could distort and be an ellipse. If you go with a scroll down to the end, low, so going to the lowest scroll possible, the upper possible is to have a line practically. But if you go slow down, slow down, slow down until the end, you will have the perfect circle. Remember that we are on 3-day time frame, and you can draw the circle selecting the shape on ellipse here. You will have the first line, then it will expand, and you will draw the circle this way. So let's remove this because I already have the circle. First is the circle. So when we are with the perfect circle, we right click here and we lock the price because we need to be consistent with measurements. And Gann is very, Gann strategies and theory is very particular in this kind of, let's say, locking the price need, because you have to be precise with the real squares and real circumferences. So let's start with retracement, Fibonacci retracement. I start from here, from the lowest part of the candle here. I will not be so precise at the moment, but I will do 0.1. I just need the 0.25, so I will have a specific setting. I have this setting here, which is Gann square. When you set up settings on Fibonacci retracement, simply drawing the tool, you can change these numbers. We really don't need the 0.618 to draw this retracement, but we will need it for the spiral. So we leave the 0, the 1, the 0.5, and the 0.25. These numbers are really important. Once you modified the defaults and you can use one color, leave the background or remove it, it's not important. It's something that you will not see in the final chart. It's a helper to draw. You will save this template with a name. So save as, I saved it like Gann square template. At this point, we have the shape ready. I will leave it here for the moment, but what I need is that it should be reversal. For my case, maybe in your case not, because this 0.25 should match the circle here this way, and then extend it, because we will do another strategy, another hint to keep drawing. So 0.25 touching the circumference. Now that we have the horizontal lines, we need the verticals. For the verticals, we will use the same strategy, but instead of using fib retracement, we will use fib channel. Starting from here, fib channel, and you can do this. Generally, a fib channel is like this, so we will align very summarized here, starting maybe the 0 at the right point here. You can use also the magnet, which will ensure that you are touching the magnet, the vertex correctly. And then the same, now I will remove the magnet, and the 0.25 is here, so I need it to touch this part of the circumference of the circle, and I will go this way. First, this is something that is automatic, is vertical, and I will reduce it until I find the contact point with the circle here. Okay, and now I just have to Consider that this is quite a perfect shape. I have this earlier retracement, this one, and I can extend this. This is a perfect box. What I have here, something very interesting, because this 0618, one horizontal and the other vertical, is already complying with my needs to draw the fib spiral. But I will be also including my Gann box, because I want more. So Gann box, not squared and not fixed. I just need a Gann box, not the fence. And I will start drawing the Gann box from here up to here, to the final ending point of each thing. Now, to be precise, also here, we can do the same that we did for Fibonacci. We have this candle having the lowest point on 31652. So if we want to have it fixed, we can draw a line there, horizontal line here, and giving the coordinates of that, we will have it here or always written, so it will be a helper for the next things that we have to do. So 3731652, 3731652. Again, checking. Yes, correct. This is one line, and the other one that is here, the upper, I will not consider, because I already drawn the circle, the 0.25. I'm just interested in lining up my box with this level. So double click on the box. The box should have 37316.52, so 37316.52, and my box will be aligned. Now I have another problem, which is with the upper part of my coordinates, but generally this is related just to the position of the candle, and it's aligned by the TradingView helpers. And this one here is the Fibonacci, which is the not conforming, because the square is a real square. So we can hide the fib retracement here, one, and the channel zoom. This is our box. We draw a Gann box. For what this is helpful, at the moment quite nothing. We will see in the future that it is for all of these fans. But let's remove the Gann box a little moment, and let's consider just this 0618 of the channel and retracement. Why? Because we are going to draw the spirals. Fib spiral pointing on this cross here and going, of course, to the center of the circle. Number one. Number two, the same. We can also duplicate it, but let's do it again, just to be super positioned. Double click on a spiral, and one will be clockwise, the other one counterclockwise. So finally we remove the Fibonacci retracements, and we have the spirals. As you can see, this is the rejection of the price. We have the initial golden ratio of this action of the trend, and we know with this, considering the Gann boxes and everything that is related with this theory, that we will be influenced by many lines. Why say not so many, but many lines, but these lines will be very particular, and this is an exercise that I leave to you to investigate. How do you feel better with these lines and what you want to do? But consider that these two golden ratios are intersecting the Gann box around, let me be a little bit precise here. You can find the touching point like this one. As you can see, I have a touch here. We'll change to 9 and to 2, why not? And the same for this one. A new view will open in your mind, and you will see that I'm not drawing just nice shapes, but very useful coordinates based on geometry and not on art. Because many people not understanding this are asking, oh, how can I read that? It's impossible. Are you just drawing strange things? These strange things give us the potential direction of the next price. So I know here that in the worst case scenario, the next candle could start here. Let's draw price action. Next candle could open here, but could also open here. And these two levels are very important because could be the highest point of tomorrow or of the next 3 days. There are many more, because if you consider this Gann box and these intersections, you can add many more intersections like this one, which is the center one. Why not considering it? It's that just like the Gann fan. You can have the same way that also Alex uses to identify, in example, this kind of 2 intervals of line here going to this point. Why not? TradingView has some limitations on that, so you need to find your best interaction with the current needs, but it's a sampling range. So this is one range. The other one we identified, and we can start identifying also this other, the last one, which is this. Okay, removing the Gann box. So now we have something. We can also remove the spirals, why not? Now we have something that people will understand. First, tomorrow, or in 3 days, because we are on 3-day time frame, we will have these kind of lines that ensure us that the price will be contained in this range. But we also have this one, and the worst case scenario, because it's possible, this one. What is interesting on this one is that it is on these green lines. And what was this green line? This green line was the touching point of this candle. So this is a very important point, because at this point we'll start a new trend reversal, and I would have to draw again the golden retracement to find an effective price direction. Now, as you can see here, we have similarities with the regression trend. I could, let's say, from here to too easy, but here I am on a 3-day. I should move now to 1-day time frame. The lines are there. So as you can see now, I could go here, I think. No, it's still a trend. Let's go here, up, from here probably. But it's something that we are very near, so it's okay, hard to identify. As you can see, here we have already the downtrend, and in this interval, which is 4 September, 3 September, we have a change of angle that increased the fall of the price. Obviously, if we go to this day, it's falling like a rock from the sky. But here, averaging this, we see that we have this kind of price action. So we could also draw, why not, the pitchforks. We can draw just one. We should draw more on the pitchfork context, because we should draw all the trend lines with inside pitchforks and so on, but we will not do that because We are just interested in finding some action of the price, like it could be aligning with the trend here, more or less, a little bit more, and this would be the starting point of this kind, more or less here. So this could be our price action, but we could also have the other one here. We could consider this range and have a strategy, an idea of where we are going. If we have to decide if this price action is going up, we have to consider that we have to cheat, because if we remove this and we start looking daily time frame, now we open the day green, it will persist or not, we will discover. But at the moment, the day opening green, as you can see, many people could say, it's opening green, we are going up. Look at when we are opening green at this level, we are going down. The angle is pointing down, it's not up. So it's very important to consider this, because it's really hard to identify this by eye. When you see green, you see, we're going up. It's not up. Let's change to Eikinashi, an example. You can see that using the Eikinashi, which is the real price action of the move, the candle is red, it's not green. But we will not use the strategies related to Eikinashi, and we will stay with our closing candle and opening at this moment with 18 minutes. With 23:18. So we have already almost an hour of the first candle. We are going down here. Considering this down, it's with an angle that is increased compared with our hypothesis. It's probably something that we have to consider this way. But it is possible that this going down will be effectively an important downtrend materializing. If we add again our Gann box, they are very similar to the Gann fan, but with the help that we can have everything here. We can also use another strategy. I will show you this, let's say, hint or trick to extend this if you don't want to do the same with a circle and so on.